Hello friends, welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. Usually I start the day by doing this when I'm going to record, but today I did not. I had busier morning than normal, and I was doing my own devotions and things, and then I did not get a chance to sit down before the day got away from me. So here I am, it's the evening hours, and I'm going to be reading with you today, still continuing on in the book of Proverbs. So we're looking today at the end of chapter 4, and this section is still under the second section, which is a father's invitation to wisdom. And we are on the seventh paternal appeal. Maintain a heart of wisdom. So without further ado, Proverbs 4, verse 20 through 27 in the ESV. Wisdom Wednesdays. My son, be attentive to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not escape from your sight. Let them keep them within your heart. For they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life. Put away from you crooked speech, and put devious talk far from you. Let your eyes look directly forward, and your gaze be straight before you. Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. This section is actually very written up and underlined in my text here. And I always put a date, and it says May of 2014, which was, from what I remember, a pretty difficult time of my life. So this is interesting that, I've got all these little notes like slow down and take your time to pray before you decide. Keep going the way Jesus has opened. I wrote that a month after. It says May, it says June on that one. And then it says, in your anger, do not sin. Ephesians 4, verse 26. So let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you, and ponder your path. So if you're angry, I was using this as a text to help me stay away from sinning in my anger. Because, we get angry. The Bible never tells you not to get angry. It just says, do not sin in your anger. And this seemed to me, and I still feel like it is, a good way of keeping yourself from that. This section here where it says, put away from you crooked speech, it's talking about lying. And I would have to say speech and how I talk and those kinds of things are probably some of my biggest struggles. I tend to not always have the greatest choice of words. And so I have to submit that to the Lord because it often slips out, just because that's just how I speak, and it's not always the greatest. So I still have to submit to the Holy Spirit in cleaning up how I talk. And I've been a Christian for a very long time, so these kinds of things never escape us. And then it, talks about keeping your integrity. That's what I wrote on the side too. So sometimes when you're pondering the path that your feet are going, and you don't want to swerve to the right or the left, and you're trying to stay away from things that you don't want to stumble on, whether it be old patterns in your life, sinful ways that you've walked away from, but you keep stumbling back into. It's important to remember that all of this is kind of about integrity. And it's interesting that it starts with, let not the words of wisdom escape from your sight, and keep them in your heart. So many of us have people that have spoken to us with wise counsel. And I think that if you don't have that, you need to seek it out and find it. And one thing I know for sure in my life, I may not have, a big board sitting behind me in a council, but I have the Lord, I have Jesus, I have this word that he's given me, that regardless of how old these texts are, they guide me and they become alive and living and active every time I read them. So may you too find that by keeping words of wisdom in your heart, you can turn your foot away from evil, not turning and swerving from left to right, but keeping the feet and going in the right direction. So there you go. Wisdom Wednesdays, Proverbs chapter 4, verses 20 through 27 in the ESV. Have a good evening.